Well, hey, Ground Zero. My name is Mark, and I'm the pastor of student ministries here at the Lino Lakes campus. And hey, I want to kick things off tonight with a little bit of a survey. Okay, so I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for how you feel about winter. All right, let me see it. A lot of thumbs down, some thumbs up over here. I'm sure a lot of thumbs downs and thumbs ups. Yeah, okay, well, here's my vote. I would give winter a big thumbs down. Yeah, winter is such a long season for me because I love riding anything with an engine and two wheels. So here's a picture of me on my first two-wheeled speedster, trying to look cool, totally failing at that. But this is my moped named Sheldon. Yes, I named my moped. And me and Sheldon had some really good times until the engine basically blew up while I was riding him. May he rest in pieces. But since then, I've upgraded a little bit. Here's a picture of me on my 2015 Victory Highball. It goes a little bit faster than Sheldon. Sheldon had a top speed of about 35 miles an hour if I was going downhill full throttle with the wind at my back. My Victory Highball will do 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. I don't even know what the top speed is, because that would just be dangerous to find out. But I can't wait for spring, because I can't wait to get back out on my bike. But one of the tricks to having a great time on a motorcycle is finding the best roads. So I'll pick a destination like Nelson's Ice Cream. Any fans out there? And then I will look at Google Maps, and I will try to find the best road to get me there. I'm looking for the one that has great scenery, that has a lot of curves. I'm looking for a road without a lot of traffic. I want to know what the best road to take is, because that makes for the best ride. And this is true about my life, too. I want to know what the best road to take is through life, because I want to have a great life. I really want my life to count. I want to get the most out of it. I want to have meaning and purpose. I want to make a difference in this life. And look, this is what I believe, that following Jesus is the best way to go through life. And we're in a series right now called Really. And so you might hear me say that, and you might think, really? Is that really true? Following Jesus? Aren't there a lot of different roads that we can take through life? Maybe you have friends that follow a different faith. Or maybe you have friends that don't believe there is a God. And you look at their life and you say, they're doing pretty good. They're a good person. So which way is best? So our big question for tonight is this: does following Jesus really matter? It totally does. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. The first one is this: Jesus is the way. So in the book of John, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says this. He says, I am the way and the truth and the life. And then he says, no one comes to the Father except through me. Now this is a pretty bold statement when you think about it, but what exactly does Jesus mean when he says, I am the way? Well, let me tell you what he's not saying. He's not saying I am a way, or I am one way of many. He's saying, I am the way. And maybe you've heard there's a lot of different ways that you can live your life. Just be a good person or follow whatever religion you choose, because at the end of the day, it's all the same. But just like there's a best road for me to take on my motorcycle, there's a best road for us to take through life. And Jesus is saying that he is that road. He's saying, follow my example. That's the best way. And you guys, I love how Jesus lived his life. I love the example that he set for us. He loved others. He served people that were in need. He did what he said he was going to do. He cared about other people. He didn't mistreat them. And I believe that this is how we make a difference in the world. Do you want to make a difference in the world? Yeah, I believe you can. If each one of you said, I'm going to follow Jesus, it would turn this world upside down. What if your generation said that? Said, I'm going to follow Jesus and live like he did. I believe that you would be the generation that would stop bullying. I believe that you would be the generation that would lower the suicide rate. I believe that you would be the generation that loved all people regardless of their age, their race, their gender, their sexuality. But the way for that to happen is for each and every one of you to say, I am going to follow Jesus. I'm going to live his way. When we follow Jesus, we're living life the best way. Well, a second reason that following Jesus really matters is because Jesus is the truth. He's not a truth. He's not one of many truths. He is the truth. But what difference does it make in our lives if we know what's true or not? Well, when I was a little kid, one time I went outside in my front yard, and I looked down, and there in the grass, right underneath a big tall pine tree, was a little baby bird. Now, this baby bird had obviously fallen out of its nest, and it wasn't old enough to fly yet. It definitely couldn't make it on its own. So I said, all right, Mark, it's time to be a hero, and it's time to save this little bird. So I bent down, and I scooped him up into my hands, and I looked around to find his nest, and there it was. It actually wasn't even that high, and so I started climbing up to put the bird back into its nest. And out of nowhere, my sister comes and yells, "What are you doing? Why did you pick up that bird? Don't you know that now your scent is on that bird and the mother won't take it back? It's going to just reject it." Now, I'd never heard this, but I just believed what my sister was saying, and I was horrified because I believed that I had ruined any chance that this bird was going to make it because now its own mother wasn't going to take care of it because I had held it. And after that experience, I never touched a baby bird again. I didn't care if it was flapping around in my front yard, if it was defenseless, if it was struggling, if it was chirping at me, tweet, 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 which I can only imagine meant, "Please help me, mister, or I'm surely going to die." I didn't care. There was no way I was going to touch that bird because that meant that its own mother was going to reject it, and I don't want that on me, okay? But here's the thing. It's not even true. Birds have a terrible sense of smell. They don't care if a human has touched their baby. And so what I believed caused me not to handle that little bird, and I could have saved, you guys, I could have saved countless baby bird lives if I had only known the truth. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but here's my point of the story. What we believe is true affects our actions. So we need to know what is true in order to act the right way. And Jesus says, "Follow me and you'll know what's true." All right, the third reason that following Jesus really matters is because Jesus is the life. He's not a life. He's not just one way to have life. All right, our world around us tells us that we can find life in a lot of different ways. Maybe it's through people. Like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. If I could just have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then I'd have life. Maybe it's a group of friends. If I could just get in with that certain crowd, that's when I'd find life. Well, maybe it's not people. Maybe instead it's performance. If I could just play really well on the basketball court or the soccer field, if I can just get good grades, then I'll have life. Or maybe it's our possessions. If I can just get that new iPhone, if I can get Snapchat or Instagram, if I can grow up, get a good job and make a lot of money, that's how I'll find life. Well, for me, one of the ways that I find life is when I sink my teeth into a big, juicy Big Mac from McDonald's. Any McDonald's fans out there? Who's with me? All right, love that. Love you guys, I'm not alone. But as I enjoy every saucy, salty bite of this hamburger that may or may not be real meat, I feel so alive. But here's the thing. Before I know it, it's gone. And then I'm sad because I don't have any more Big Mac. But look, if we try to find life in things, there's just no guarantee that we can have life in these things because there's no guarantee that they won't end, right? Jesus is the only thing that we can find life in that will never fail us, that will never run out. He is the only way to have true life. He gives us meaning. He gives us purpose. He helps us enjoy all of these things like Big Macs, boyfriends and girlfriends, playing on sport teams. He helps us enjoy all of those things without finding our life in them. But not only is Jesus the way to have life here and now while we're on earth, he is the only way to have life after death. Now, we probably don't think about this a lot, but someday we're going to die. And the Bible teaches us that there are two destinations that we can end up at after we die. One is heaven, where we will spend eternity with God, the place where we are meant to be. And the other is hell. And it's a place of eternal separation from God. Now, heaven is where I want to end up, and I'm sure that many of you feel the same way. So how do we make sure that we end up there? Let's go back to our verse. Again, Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The Father is God. No one comes to God except through me. Jesus is saying that no one gets to heaven to be with God except through him. So does following Jesus really matter? 100%. Because Jesus says no one gets to heaven except through him. So one time when I was in college, I wanted to go see this band that was pretty popular at the time. And it was great because I had a friend who actually knew somebody in the band. And so he was going to be able to get us in for free. So my friend Johnny said that all I had to do was show up to the concert. My name was going to be on this list. And then I'd be able to just go right in. And so I'm excited for the show. I'm pumped to be there. I show up and I go up to the security guard. I say, hey, my name is Mark. I should be on the list to be able to get in for free. And he just looks at the list, looks back at me and says, I don't see your name. Oh, dang it. And so I didn't know what to do. I tried to explain to him that my friend Johnny knew someone in the band and that he was going to put my name on this list. I'm sure he's heard this 1,000 times, right? He's not going to let me in. He said the same thing. No name, no show. So I called Johnny. He's already in. I said, hey, man, my name's not on the list. I can't get in. Johnny comes out, and he tries to explain to the security guard that my name should be on the list, that he knows the bass player in the band, and that my name should have been there so I could get in for free. Same answer. No name, no show. Well, now I'm getting discouraged. I'm about to leave and go home, but Johnny texts the bass player in the band. And even though the show is about to start, he comes out to the front, and he adds my name to the list. And you guys, I got in. I got into the show for free. And as I walked past that security guard, I said, told you so. No, actually, I didn't do that. That dude was huge, okay? He would have crushed me with his massive biceps. I just got in there. I was like, I'm good to go, right? But here's the thing. The only way that I was getting in was if my name was on that list. And the bass player in the band was the only one that could get it there. It was the only one. Without the bass player, I wasn't getting in. And the same is true about heaven. Without Jesus, we aren't getting in. So this might have you wondering, why is Jesus the only way to get into heaven? Well, Jesus is the only one that can get us in because it's only through Jesus that our sin can be forgiven. See, we all have this problem, and it's called sin. So Romans 3:23 says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We've all made mistakes. We've told a lie. We've disobeyed our parents. We've taken that thing that we shouldn't have. This is called sin. And this is a problem because Romans 6:23 says the wages of sin is death. You see, what our sin earns us, wages are just something you earn. What our sin earns us is death. And this isn't just death at the end of our life. This is an eternal death where we are separated from God forever. But there's good news. Romans 5:8 says, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God loved you so much that he sent Jesus to die on the cross for your sins so that you can have eternal life and that you can spend eternity with God in heaven. We read in the Bible that God has a book with a list of names in it. And everybody whose name is on that list will get into heaven. But if your name isn't on that list, you're not getting in. So how do we make sure that our names are on that list? It's by following Jesus. Nothing and no one else can get our name on that list except Jesus. We can't earn our way in. No other religion will get us there. It's only Jesus. We have to put our faith in Jesus and choose to follow him. It's the only way. Now, many of you have already done this, which is awesome and so exciting to me. You've made the decision to follow Jesus. You're on the best road. You don't have to worry about where you're going to end up when you die because you're following Jesus. But you probably have friends who aren't. You probably have friends who don't know who Jesus is, and you need to care about that. Just like Johnny cared about me and helped me get into the show, we need to care about our friends. And look, what's at stake here is not some concert. What's at stake here is someone's eternity. So if we really believe that Jesus is the best way to live our lives and that he is the only way to get into heaven, we need to share that with our friends. Tell them about Jesus. Invite them to ground zero. Be Johnny for them. But others of you are stuck at the door. You're wondering, is there a better way in? Can I just get in on my own? But this is it. Jesus is the answer. And if you've never made the decision to put your faith in Jesus, to follow him, you can do that right now. So I want to give you the chance to do that, to follow Jesus, to find the best way, to know the truth, to have real life, and to make sure that your name is on that list. All we have to do is ask God for that. And so if you want that, I want you to pray this prayer with me. Let's bow our heads. God, thank you for loving me so much that you sent Jesus to make a way for me to have life now and forever. I admit that I've been living my life on my own and that there is sin in my life that is separating me from you. But I believe that you sent Jesus to die on the cross for my sin, and I'm putting my faith in him. I'm choosing right now to follow him and his way for the rest of my life. Thank you for the promise that I will spend eternal life with you in heaven. Now, students, if you prayed that prayer, let me just say, way to go. Way to go. I'm so proud of you. Hang on. Best decision you'll ever make. Yeah, they're clapping here at Lino. Let's clap across all campuses. So exciting. I believe that when I say best decision that you'll ever make. But look, before you go anywhere, I want to invite the pastors of student ministry across all campuses to come on up. They've got some final words for you before we go. All right, you guys, before we head out tonight, thanks so much for listening. You guys were awesome. I love speaking to you here at Lino. It's so much fun. But hey, before you go, if you did decide to follow Jesus again, I just want to celebrate that and say, way to go. I'm so proud of you. We have some resources, just some things for you to get started as you begin this journey following Jesus. So at the back, there are some tables set up, and there's a couple of things back there for you. There's a Follow Jesus book that if you have any questions about the decision that you just made, you'll find some answers in there. And it's got some other great things, so make sure that you take one of those. And there's also a Bible for you. But look, if you made the decision to follow Jesus for the first time tonight, I want you to do something. We talked about taking our phones and putting them away, but right now, I want you to take out your phone if you made that decision, and I want you to text LIFE to 555-888. Text LIFE to 555-888, and this is gonna let us know that you made that decision. And we have some other things that we want to get to you. We want to be praying for you on that journey. So again, if you made that decision tonight, text LIFE to 555-888. Grab a Follow Jesus booklet, get a Bible. Have a great week, you guys.